SKOL Vikings, let's win this game.
Vikings fans, I have seen a lot of wild off-seasons in my 55 years following this team. But this one is asking for calm nerves and a strong heart. There is a key piece of the offense who could be on the way out because of money. There is a core group on defense that might get new deals sooner than expected. There is a heavy rumor involving one of the faces of the franchise. And now a legendary voice is stepping up, demanding accountability from the man who is supposed to lead the future. The last story hits everything we believe about this team in purple and gold. So stay with me until the end. Before we dive in, one quick request from one fan to another. Subscribe to the channel. It is completely free, and it helps keep this community alive and growing. Hit the like button and drop a comment telling me which story hit you the hardest. Let's get into it. Here is the deal. The money is tight, and when the salary cap turns into a crater, somebody always feels it first. The Vikings are heading into the 2026 offseason sitting roughly $40 million in the red. There are ways out of it with cuts and restructures, sure, but there is one position that has become the elephant in the room, and that brings us to a name we all know, T.J. Hockenson. This is not about hating the player. Not even close. I like the way he plays when he is healthy. The problem is the number on the spreadsheet. His cap hit for 2026 is massive. It is north of $20 million. And when you add up what is tied into the top two tight ends, it climbs past $30 million. $30 million for a position that realistically is not carrying the offense. And before anyone says, but he used to be elite, I remember that too. In 2023, he was rolling until that ACL tear. After the injury, though, the production dipped. In 2025, he averaged just a few catches per game and under 30 yards most weeks. You feel that on Sundays. You watch and think, that is what is costing all that money. The read around the league is simple. Either the team asks him to take a pay cut or they start seriously considering moving on. That is not personal. That is survival. The cap is the cap, and the Vikings have other bills to pay. The offensive line needs attention. Brian Flores' defense needs pieces. The entire roster needs financial breathing room. Okay, but what if they cut him? Then you better have a plan B. Right now, plan B is a lot of maybe. A late-round pick here. A rookie who barely saw the field there. A waiver claim the team said it liked. But projecting those guys into major roles is a gamble. And gambles in August turn into regrets in November. At the same time, you cannot keep doubling down on an expensive bet that is not paying off. If Minnesota makes a move here, it opens doors. Free agency could offer strong names. The draft could be an option. I am not saying it becomes a party overnight. I am saying the numbers do not add up as things stand. And here is something you will not hear everywhere. Touching Hockenson's deal is not just about dollars. It sends a message inside the locker room. It tells everyone the standard just went up. We have all seen talented rosters fall apart because they stayed loyal to inflated contracts. So tell me in the comments, would you renegotiate with Hockenson or would you reset the position entirely? Because the next story takes this money conversation straight into the heart of the roster, and it gets even hotter. Some moves do not look flashy, but they change everything. Early extensions are like that, and every single year the Vikings find a way to hand one out. With the cap tight and free agency right around the corner, that talk could heat up fast. A few names stand out, and honestly, they make sense. First up is Blake Cashman. When he was healthy in 2025, he was everywhere. Tackle after tackle after tackle. And somehow it flew under the radar. If he had not missed a few games, his numbers would have been historic. The practical part is this. He is entering the final year of his deal. You can wait, but waiting can mean paying more later. Then there is Jonathan Greenard. Yes, the almost sacked jokes were everywhere. I get it. But constant pressure still changes games. He brings that. And his guaranteed money has already run out. In a year when the team needs flexibility, extending him and converting salary into bonus money is classic NFL maneuvering. You do not get rid of pass rushers when you are trying to get back to the playoffs. That is how you invite disaster. And then there is Brian O'Neill. If they adjust his contract, I am not complaining. I am applauding. He has been the pillar of that offensive line for years. You only realize how valuable that is when it is gone. He is 31, yes, but elite tackles play deep into their 30s. If you care about protecting whoever lines up at quarterback, you take care of him. Restructuring and adding guaranteed money is almost common sense. And do not overlook Jay Ward. He stepped up when he got his shot. He hits hard. He brings energy. More importantly, Flores values versatility. Ward has shown he can function as both corner and safety. In a scheme built on disguise and chaos, that matters. He is also entering the final year of his deal. Wait too long and someone else pays him. What this signals is simple. The Vikings may try to lock up their real core before the market explodes. That can also help manage the cap by spreading money out. But every extension has a hidden cost. You push money forward. If you guess wrong, it hurts later. So buckle up, because the next story moves from smart contract talk into something that splits the fan base in half. It is the kind of headline that makes you say, there is no way this is real. Some rumors you scroll past, others punch you in the gut. This one is the second kind, because when trade talk starts involving the face of the franchise, it stops being technical and becomes emotional. Yes, the name floating around is Justin Jefferson. Take a breath. The idea connects him to the Seattle Seahawks, the reigning Super Bowl champions. A stable roster, a steady quarterback, an already dangerous offense. The cold logic says they have the talent and ambition to add another elite weapon and dominate the conference for years. From Minnesota's side, the argument would be retooling, stockpiling draft capital, finding a long-term answer at quarterback. But let's be clear, this cuts deep. Jefferson is not just numbers, he is identity. Even in a messy 2025 season, he cleared 1,000 receiving yards again. That makes 6 straight seasons over 1,000 yards. He saw 141 targets. He produces even when the system around him struggles. That is rare. That is Hall of Fame trajectory stuff. Still, there is a strategic angle. If leadership believes the offense needs a reset around a new quarterback, a massive draft haul becomes tempting, especially considering Jefferson already has proven chemistry with Seattle's current quarterback. They have put up big numbers together before, so here is the real question. Would you do it? I will say this once. I would only consider it if the return reshaped the franchise for a decade. Not a panic move, not a lateral move, a defining move. Otherwise, it makes no sense. And do not ignore the locker room impact. Trading your most talented player sends a message. Some will call it rebuilding. Others will call it waving the white flag. That is a dangerous line to walk. Football is not just emotion, though. If the front office believes it must reset the offensive core for long-term stability, massive decisions follow. Seattle has assets. Minnesota is not a team in free fall either. The defense competes. The roster has a foundation. So tell me, would you hold on to Jefferson no matter what? Or would you listen to a monster offer? Because the next twist involving his name takes this conversation into even more shocking territory, and the debate only gets louder. I will be honest. When I first saw this proposal, I laughed in disbelief. Then I read it again and thought, someone is testing the fan base. Because this version is not just a trade rumor. It is a full reset scenario. Once again, Justin Jefferson is at the center, this time linked to the San Francisco 49ers. And the proposal reportedly even involves quarterback movement and a first-round pick. From San Francisco's perspective, the logic is easy. They already have Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Fred Warner, and Nick Bosa. They want to secure another Super Bowl. They look at their roster and think, one more elite weapon changes everything. Jefferson would be that weapon. From Minnesota's perspective, the pitch sounds rational on the surface. Stability at quarterback, high-end draft capital, a different long-term direction. But then you hit the financial wall. If the Vikings traded Jefferson this offseason, they would absorb roughly $46.5 million in dead cap. That is not a footnote. That is a financial earthquake. Carrying that number while trying to build a competitive roster would be brutal. It would limit free agency. It would complicate the draft. It would weigh on every decision. And here is the thing. The team is not collapsing. Yes, the offense struggled in stretches of 2025, but they still found ways to win games. That speaks to structure and culture. Removing Jefferson would shake both the emotional and tactical foundation. His stat line reinforces that. 17 games played, 141 targets, 84 receptions, 1,048 receiving yards, 12.5 yards per catch, 2 touchdowns. Even in chaos, he produced. So is he the issue, or was it the system near the goal line? I understand the mindset of no one is untouchable. I do. But there is a difference between bold and reckless, and this proposal feels reckless. Hold that thought, because the final story shifts from trade speculation to direct accountability from one of the greatest Vikings ever. And when a legend speaks, people who live and breathe Vikings football listen. Have you ever heard a franchise legend speak and felt it was more than an opinion? It feels like a warning. That is exactly what happened when John Randall spoke openly about J.J. McCarthy and the quarterback situation. The context is tough. McCarthy entered the league as a high draft pick. His rookie season was wiped out by a meniscus injury. In 2025, he finally got the starting job, and it was rocky. Injuries returned. His play looked hesitant at times. He completed just 57.6% of his passes. He threw 12 interceptions and only 11 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Sam Darnold left and won a Super Bowl in Seattle. That comparison is unavoidable. Randall's message was clear. If he were running things, he would bring in real competition, not a comfortable backup, a legitimate challenger, a quarterback who forces McCarthy to earn the job every single day. Young quarterbacks need development, yes, but they also need pressure. The NFL does not wait. What stood out was that Randall was not attacking. He was protecting the window. The roster has talent across the board. The defense can compete. The offense has playmakers. The team cannot afford another season of hoping it clicks. Fans do not live on hope alone. They live on results. If the Vikings do not bring in a veteran capable of pushing McCarthy, they are betting the entire 2026 season on a leap that may not happen. If it fails, frustration grows fast. The locker room feels it. The fan base feels it. Options exist. They always do. The challenge is choosing the right one, not just a name to fill depth. A player who studies the playbook, steps in, and creates real competition. And when you connect all the dots, tight cap space, potential star movement, strategic extensions, and now a legend demanding accountability, it feels like every decision is tied together. The next move defines the direction of this franchise. See how it all connects? The cap pressure squeezes the roster. T.J. Hawkinson's contract becomes a real question. Key defenders and linemen need security to keep the foundation strong. Justin Jefferson's name keeps popping up in blockbuster rumors that set the fan base on fire. And John Randall's warning about J.J. McCarthy adds urgency to the quarterback situation. I will make one bold statement. If the Vikings nail 2 or 3 of these major decisions, they are right back in the fight in 2026. If they miss, it becomes another season of almost. And nobody wants to live in almost anymore. Drop your thoughts below. This space belongs to everyone who lives and breathes Vikings football. I want to know what you would do with Hawkinson, whether you would lock Jefferson in long-term, and what kind of competition you would bring in for McCarthy. Stay tuned. SKOL Vikings. Let's go.